Hi, my name is Lewis Arnold, and I'm here to discuss the PBLs of quadratic functions. So the first question is, well, what are PBLs? So PBLs are two different types of what we consider active learning, learning that is interactive, on hand, creative, and PBL really stands for there's two names. It's called project-based learning and problem-based learning. So project-based learning is really more the creation of something is the key word I would use to describe that. It's taking a particular topic and using creative, new, innovative ideas in order to help with the learning of a particular topic. Problem-based learning is a real world, taking a complex issue of some sort and using the topic and the ways in which we solve the topic in order to help complete the problem. So the first example that I'm going to use is project-based learning. Both of these result with the content at hand of graphing quadratic functions and writing quadratic equations. So in this project-based learning topic, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating our own catapult. And with the catapult, we are going to launch various objects, and we are going to then graph the equation of it, and we're going to try to determine, well, what is the quadratic equation that we get from each of these launches that we have. So there's 5 steps in order to complete this project. So step number 1 is students are going to they're going to create a catapult, and they're going to launch various items across the room. And they're going to use a video recording device in order to get the video of the launch. Now, what that is going to help them do in part 2 is they're going to go back and they're going to watch the video, and they're going to be able to determine several important key points that we talk about when we learn graphing quadratic equations, such as the max height, or the vertex as it's known, as well as the landing spot. And what those 2 key points are going to allow them to do then in part 3 is to construct a quadratic equation using those key points. Well, once they have that quadratic equation in step 4, they're going to then be able to graph the quadratic equation, and they're going to be able to see, okay, what items went further, what items did not go quite as far, and that's what we're going to be looking for in part 5, is they're going to be coming up in front of the class and they're going to be discussing their findings, they're going to be showing their graphs, and they're going to talk a little bit about why they thought some items maybe went further than others did. In our problem-based learning, we still have the same content. We are still graphing quadratic functions and writing quadratic equations. But this time what we're going to be looking at is trying to determine if, based off of certain key points, does the basketball go into the hoop? So the first thing that students are going to have to do is they're going to have to identify key points from the graph. So they're going to be given a little bit of information because they're going to need it in order to be able to get started with this. And based off of the key points, again, it could be referring to the max height of the ball. It could be just another spot anywhere that lies on that line or that graph of the ball. And then in step 2, students will create a quadratic equation based off of the points. And they will also be given the coordinates of the hoop, and they will have to determine, does the hoop lie on the pathway of the basketball, to figure out if it goes in or not. So I want to thank you very much for watching this presentation on project-based versus problem-based learning. You will notice the slide, the figure from the differences was taken to help us see better more the differences between project-based and problem-based learning. So again, thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation on the PBLs of quadratic functions.